I feel like it's really clear who and what Jimmy Garoppolo is. But he's getting drugged through the Twitterverse right now. And I feel like I get some of it that's warranted, right? Just in the sense of the eye test. It looks a little odd. But the 49ers win a lot of games with him. Now, I think there's two drastically like different sides to this, how people are taking it. There are some people that think, oh man, like they win in spite of Garoppolo. And I think there's something to that. There's some people that believe they win because of Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think there's something to that. All right. I'm going to argue for both sides today. Then I'm going to let y'all come on and tell me what you feel about this whole thing. I know we talk about Jimmy a lot, but listen, all organizations, any podcast that you jump on right now, they're going to be talking about the quarterback position. They get paid the most. It's just the most polarizing position. And most teams go as far as their quarterback goes. So that's what teams are discussing. That's what podcasts are discussing. A quarterback. And 49ers. That's what we're discussing. The 49ers quarterback. And when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think I've ever seen a fan base so split on one guy. So split. I try to play it neutral. I know what he is and what he isn't. But I feel like there's a part of the crowd, the 49er fans that hate. I don't want to say hate Jimmy G. That's a strong word. They think that he's terrible. And there's another part that's like, dude, he's the reason why you win so many games. Look at the 49ers record without him. There are a lot of statistics that work really in both favors. All right. I've seen numbers. One, the main number that's going to work in Jimmy Garoppolo's favor is the amount of wins that he has when quarterbacking the 49ers. Even you look in the playoffs, Jimmy Garoppolo now has 4 playoff wins. 4 playoff wins. But then somebody that will argue against him would say, well, in those 4 playoff wins, he's averaging like 120 passing yards and has only thrown 1 touchdown pass. And his 1 touchdown pass in his 4 playoff wins came on the very first drive of the first playoff game that he ever played in. And that was the pass to Kendrick Bourne, Justin for Kendrick Bourne. So I get it from a statistical standpoint, but I think we got to kind of like throw the stats out, right? And I see my guy Jason Walsh here. He says this playoffs he has 1 TD and 4 INTs. I don't even think he has a touchdown pass. Did he throw one against the Cowboys? No, because Deebo Samuel threw a touchdown. Mitchell had a rushing touchdown. So when you say this playoffs he has 1 TD, I think that's just the 49ers. They really haven't had TD drives like that. He has no touchdown passes and 2 interceptions. That's not ideal. I agree. Not ideal. But I do think the reason why the 49ers have been able to win so many games with Jimmy Garoppolo, there's something to it. Again, we've talked about it. You know, Grant Cohn said it, the arsonist and the firefighter, right? He's kind of starting the fires and he's putting the fires out. But I think like that's been him throughout his time with the 49ers. He's done a lot. He's done a good amount to keep 49ers in games, right? When Jimmy Garoppolo is at quarterback, you don't get blown out. A lot of teams get blown out. You're not getting blown out with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. I can guarantee this. With Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, you always have a chance to win. Very rarely are there any games that get away from the 49ers. Very rarely are there games with Jimmy Garoppolo where the 49ers lose by more than 1 score. I think the Cardinals game with Colt McCoy, and I don't know what happened in that game, and that might have been one of Jimmy Garoppolo's best games. You know what I'm saying? But very rarely are you not in contention to win a football game with Jimmy Garoppolo. So I do think that there's value with that. There's value with the fact that no matter what the circumstances, and we can talk about how great this 49ers team is, it's a loaded roster, in my opinion. It's a loaded roster. I'd almost go as far as to say 49ers kind of underachieving right now. And when I say underachieving, I mean in the full extent of what they should be able to do with the talent really on both sides of the ball. Not underachieving in the sense of the results of being in the NFC Championship game. Like, that's big time. But I feel like there's another level to this team that should be kicking everybody's ass, and they're not getting there, right? They're not getting there. But at the end of the day, regardless, with Jimmy, you are going to be in contention to win the game. Now, my guy Mike Shields, this is a great stat. We were in contention with Brian Hoyer. We lost 7 of 9 games by 3 or less points. I remember 5 straight at one point, right? And the thing that makes Jimmy Garoppolo better than a guy like Brian Hoyer is he has a clutch gene. And that's what this is about. Jimmy G, aka Mr. Clutch. So there gotta be something to that. So there's this stat, and let me go to it right now. How many QBs would you rather have for a game? And a lot of people are I don't know why they are mixing this up or turning my words into something or not understanding the context of this. But my good folks at Locked On podcast says, how many QBs would you rather have for a game-winning drive than Jimmy G? Locked On 49ers host Eric Crocker says, not many. And this is my direct quote. Last couple of minutes of a game, there are only a couple of quarterbacks that I'd rather have with the ball in their hands than Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, there might be some people that you're like, you know what? Yeah, I would have him, like, cool, whatever. But I mean, like, if we're just talking about it's the last 2 minutes, and if I can't have Jimmy Garoppolo, what guys do I have? It's Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. And they bring this up. And this was from yesterday. And it's crazy because obviously my quote came out yesterday. I've been saying this for a while. And this guy says it. I don't believe he's a 49er guy, NFL writer. He's just an NFL writer, not a 49er guy. And he said, here's an update list. 49er fans might be interested more than most here. Why would the 49ers be interested? Because Jimmy Garoppolo is sitting right here at number 2 in fourth quarter comebacks, that's game-winning drive opportunities. And not only that, this year's win-losses, right? 10 wins, 9 losses. That doesn't take into account the Green Bay game, where in the last 2 minutes, he drove the 49ers down the field, scored a touchdown with 37 seconds left, no timeouts, and the 49ers still lost that game. That doesn't, well, it does take into account, but it doesn't go towards wins. He gets hurt by a Tennessee game where last seconds of the game, he drives down with a minute left, 49ers score a touchdown. Now, is it all him? No. Deebo Samuel had a big running catch after, in that Titans game. But at the end of the day, Jimmy Garoppolo, with 2 minutes left, he's money. And we have seen it consistently, and this backs it up. This backs up everything that I've been saying. This backs it up. Matter of fact, 52%, 51%, he got the highest percentage. These are fourth quarter. I don't know exactly how to look at it. But at the end of the day, he's second on this list to Tom Brady. So I've been saying this for a while. And a lot of y'all that have been listening to me, y'all hear me say this. And those numbers back up what I've been saying. And then it's crazy because I'll see people, in the comments or whatever, or quote tweeting, and they're like, what, really? Jimmy Garoppolo? And it's like, man, y'all low-key got Jimmy fucked up. You are right in the sense of the first 57 minutes of a game. There are probably 15 to 20 quarterbacks I'd take over him. If you're saying, all right, you got to start your season with a quarterback, all right, there are, for this 49ers team that I feel like has a really good roster and really kind of loaded, right? Look at 49ers roster, how it's constructed. There are a good amount of quarterbacks I would take over him. But when it comes down to the last 3 minutes, there's only one or two. I'd say Patrick Mahomes too. 2 quarterbacks I would take over Jimmy G. So when I see this right here from my guy Mike Shields, we were in contention with Brian Hoyer. We lost 7 out of 9 games by 3 or less points. The biggest difference, Jimmy G got that clutch factor. And I feel like at this point, it really can't be disputed. Like, how do you even argue against it? How do you argue against the fact that at the end of the day, with Jimmy Garoppolo, you're going to be in games. Yeah, he's going to do some weird things to make it to where you can't blow teams out. But when it comes down to it, the last 2 minutes, I'm calm. I'm as calm as can be.